So we are just loading in at the moment for Go4SC2 314. It's going to be a ZvP. I'm Madals, of course. Thank you all for tuning in if you're watching live, or hi if you're on my YouTube channel. This should be some good times. Acheron Wastes is going to be the map, and it's certainly going to be an awful lot of fun. So just waiting for some people to load. Going to be a bit of a delay. Hopefully it won't be too long. As you can see, we are just waiting for everything to get going, and apparently it's freaking out a little bit. It's not like trying to load up the game. There we go as we reload the scene. And yeah, players are loading in. So it's a Grandmaster, JonnyREcco, rest of Masters Relmer. So this should be pretty good fun. Just waiting for Rico to load at the moment, and hopefully it won't take too long at the moment. There we go. We are in game. So without further ado, let me introduce these two players. Spawning up in the top left position as the blue Protoss player, it is Relmer. And his opponent down in the bottom right, the pink Zerg, none other than JonnyREcco. JonnyREcco does like pink. It's his favourite colour to play in. Cool little fact there. So, ZvP, what kind of things can we be expecting to see on Acheron Wastes? Well, one thing that immediately pops into my head is that Acheron Wastes and JonnyREcco can quite often mean swarm hosts. Oh yeah, I can, because he loves a bit of swarm host play. He's really good at it. And Acheron Wastes is really good for it, but just because of this ravine in the middle, you can position swarm hosts very nicely to defend a lot of different avenues of attack. And once you start actually taking down to your fourth base, well, you can defend quite easily there if you put swarm hosts in this sort of area, because you can run the locust around, you can see if anything tries to knock down those rocks. Also, your fifth usually comes up this way, generally speaking, although sometimes you do get a fifth down here. It just depends on really the way players want to go for it, but generally they take this one. And then again, if you've got swarm host positioned nicely sort of around this sort of area, or actually probably a bit bigger than that, anywhere sort of around here-ish, though you see on the screen, you can easily move them to defend everywhere around here, all the different avenues of attack. It's really nice. So that's a possibility. But for the moment, well, he's going gateway expand. That means Rico, he just needs to go ideally for two main options. One is to go pool hatch, is a good thing. Alternatively, you can go hatch pool. The reason hatch pool works, 3 hatches before you get a spawning pool down, is because you've got the option to get enough units out. There's nothing really a Protoss player can do to punish you before then to actually try and do it. But Rico is going hatch first. It is possible that he goes into a spawning pool after this. It is a little bit more risky going hatch pool than actually going hatch pool. And that's quite counterintuitive what you're seeing, but it's just because the benefits you gain from just getting a single hatch down aren't always fantastic. But we'll wait and see what Rico's going to do. He does have enough money to get that spawning pool now, and he is going to go for it. So hatch pool from him, a bit more of a standard opening, a bit more risky than going pool hatch, but it means overall his economy will be slightly better. It's very unlikely that it was going to be a forge fast expand or a Nexus first in this map, and the reason for that is due to this huge amount of this huge ramp coming up into your natural. Yes, it's a ramp, which does give you the high ground advantage, the vision advantage, as opposed to being flat, but it is very wide, it's hard to wall off, and there isn't really an alternative wall off position, which makes it a little bit frustrating. But Rico, he's going to see the pylon getting placed down here, so he now knows it's a gateway expand just from that. And how's he going to respond? Well, he's got the gas already coming. That's, again, a much more normal thing, getting this gas down early against gateway first. If it was a forge fast expand or something, you tend to see the third at about 4, well, actually anywhere as early as kind of 3 minutes 50 up until about 4 minutes 20 is a good timing for that. And yeah, if it's a gateway, you want to get speed done, and that's the big thing this gas is for, to start zerging speed in order to help defend against just a little pressure that's going to be coming out. The Zealot plus the Mothership Core may not seem terrifying, but 2 Zealots plus the Mothership Core can be really annoying, specifically with a good time warp. And the reason time warp is important is because it allows you to get the Zealots up in range with the Queen. If you pick up a Queen early, you hurt the Zerg's production and their defensive capability, which is, of course, very frustrating. Now, Rico has just got enough gas to start zerging speed, and notice he pulls all of the drones out. So he's going back to just getting as many minerals as he can, but he's got zerging speed done. The next thing really on his mark is to try and start up his third hatch pretty damn quick. So Zealot does see there's a couple of links outside. You know what, I'm going to pull back. Rico temporarily started up a single spine cooler, just in case there was going to be any more pressure coming in. But for the moment, it's all looking safe for him. He's just got to deal with this Mothership Core. He needs to ideally try and prioritize that down. He may decide to pull this Queen. Notice the Queen is at the very, very edge, just in case it needs to come down and help out. But Rico now is about to see the Zealot come in. It's the second Zealot in the Mothership Core that may force him to pull another Queen. We'll wait and see. But there we go. There's the time warp, just as expected. A third Queen has just popped. Prioritizing the Mothership Core is really important, but good surrounds at the moment. Both Queens staying up. The Zealots getting taken out pretty damn easily, and that was a nice cleanup by Rico, who really didn't lose too much at all. It was minimal losses, much worse in terms of what happened to Relmer. But Relmer does have his Nexus coming up now. He's got his Forge as well, plus these 2 additional gateways. So it's a pretty standard follow-on to what you usually see off a gateway expand. It's all looking good. But REcco, he's busy taking his third. Note this Overlord at the back. Seeing the Nexus coming down, knows the probes are already transferred down, and he should be fine. The Mothership Core did stay alive, and the Mothership Core staying up isn't really that bad. It's nice to get it picked up, but just the sheer fact that REcco didn't lose too much. Get on! Oh, some Zerglings do manage to sneak in. This is actually quite massive. Good second force field, but ideally you don't want to have to use that second force field if at all avoidable. But the big important thing is that this Zergling has managed to get the scout out. Comes into the main, says, okay, what have you got? Gets a nice little bit of information, sees the gas timings, sees the additional gateways, knows the Forge is researching something, but critically sees there isn't any tech down yet. Very, very important. If he does get that scout one, of course he's going to have a lot more of a comfortable time. Starts up the Roach Warren behind this, gets a couple of spine crawlers. Clearly, from what he's seen so far, he's expecting some pressure. 3 gates with the +1 could lead to a nice frustrating timing push. He's also going to be thinking, hang on, what else is coming? Because it's very rare on a gateway expand to see just 2 additional gates and not some tech. It's either usually you got to 4 gates and then do a little bit of damage off the back of that, or you get some tech, and there's the tech. The Twilight Council's coming down. The +1 admittedly does delay that, but the +1 is nearly in. This is why REcco's chucking down these spines. He's making sure that he's going to be able to defend this. Sentry heavy composition at the moment, but good win there. Grabbing a Sentry for free, always solid. He's bought time to get these 2 spines out. The third base is up, and Roaches are on their way. Moving the spine crawlers forward just to cover the third and the natural simultaneously, but for the moment, REcco, he's just in a nice defensive spot. I think it'll be very difficult for Relmer to move in and try and deal damage now, because there's a lot of speedlings out. The Roaches, as we know, are just popping, and that's really pretty much where this is going to get shut down. It's going to be nigh on impossible for REcco to try and do... Oh, sorry, for Relmer to try and push in here and deal any more damage. It's going to be very frustrating for him to get in there, but he does have Blink coming down as well as the +2, so this wasn't an all-in or anything like that. He was just putting on the pressure, but he can't afford to lose this. His Mothership Core does have enough energy for a mass recall, and he may have to use that. If he loses these sentries specifically, it would be very costly for him. This is forcing units from REcco, and as long as he doesn't lose too much, that'll be fine. There comes down the recall, he gets out of there, and all in all, REcco was forced to make quite a few units. His drone count is a little lower than perhaps he'd want, but he does still have a lot out on the field. He needs to be ready to counter-defend this, or go on for some more pressure. 3 additional gateways added on, and oh, the poor probe is not stuck, just gets out, adds on another gateway, 5 more gates coming down here. Okay, there's another one somewhere else as well, don't know where that's hiding, but yeah, 5 more gates. Adding on to already 3, that takes up to 8 gate. This is now a lot of gateways. 4 warp gates already, adding on 4, 8 gates, +2, and Blink. Very powerful push. REcco needs to get quite a few units out here. I'm not quite sure what he's seen. Let's take a look at his vision. So, REcco doesn't know about the additional gateways yet. Step 1. Step 2, he does know about the Twilight Council and this additional gate. So, he's got a bit of information. He knows the Twilight Council's there. Blink or charges on its way. Didn't see a Dark Shrine or anything like that. Probably suspect what's coming. Notice the creep spread as well. This creep spread has the advantage that it's able to force back the closest proxy pylon. Doesn't go on. Oh, he does just see vision of that. That's really nice. That is really solid. It's from this watchtower up here, holding that, very important. He's also holding the other one. So REcco does know that this push is coming. He's seen the composition. Notice he's getting more roaches out. The 1-1 upgrades are started, but critically, roach speed is on its way. That's the upgrade which is really important. And the reason I like that is because you're able to get better positioning. You're able to retreat, avoid force fields a little bit easier. But REcco, he's got quite good. Notice the spore crawler as well, because he didn't confirm that it was definitely Blink yet. Got the spore down in case it was DTs. That was a precautionary measure, which is seeming to pay off quite nicely. So, a couple of force fields go down, just trying to zone out the roaches. But the flank coming in now from REcco. He's got good surface area. Prioritizing at the moment, trying to pick off a couple of these sentries. Does manage to get a few of them. Negating the force fields is going to be good news. More stalkers are getting warped in. Blink now revealed with an offensive Blink 4. But both spines still up. More roaches on their way. 11, 15 more now in production. A couple of units off to the side are getting taken down. Worryingly for REcco, he has tried to take a 4th. And this 4th base on its way is just going to make things a little bit more tough in terms of trying to defend. He doesn't want to lose that if he can avoid it. Admittedly, it's not essential because he's still 2 bases up on his opponent, but REcco with a good flank here with quite a few zones. The force field's just not enough to completely negate all of this damage. Roach speed has kicked in as well. That means that chasing down this army will be a breeze. The time warp is used, meaning there's not enough energy now for a mass recall, and GG is called, and JonnyREcco will take game number 1. very nicely done by him there. So that was pretty good fun.